There's news about the Tulsi Gabbard release of documents alleging that Barack Obama and our top intelligence head had conspired to create a false narrative that Donald Trump was essentially a Russian asset. Essentially, the new narrative says that despite all the references to 17 intelligence authorities that had confirmed a Trump-Putin collusion, there was no such consensus.
Welcome back to Expert Playback. Hit subscribe for weekly deep dives into the stories shaping America. Fresh documents from Tulsi Gabbard's release drop a bombshell. The Russia hoax didn't start in Moscow, it started in Obama's Oval Office. Victor Davis Hanson walks us through the smoking gun meeting where Obama's intelligence chiefs reported no evidence of the Trump-Russia collusion. But the outgoing president allegedly said, "Find me the crime anyway." Not find the truth, find the crime to fit the narrative. Tonight we trace how one December order launched a multi-year witch hunt that crippled Trump's first presidency and undermined America's credibility on the world stage.
But it all boils down to this December 9th meeting of 2016. Remember, Donald Trump had won the election. Barack Obama was going out. His intelligence heads and others at this meeting, John Brennan, CIA director, James Clapper, director of National Intelligence, and James Comey, FBI director. These 17 subordinate intelligence authorities had not found evidence, either in the campaign or during the transition, that Donald Trump was colluding. And so that's what they reported. Handwritten notes suggest that Barack Obama did not accept that, but said, no, we don't want that assessment. We want an assessment that he did collude. In other words, in Soviet Beria fashion, find me the crime and I have the criminal to insert into that false narrative.
That December 9th meeting changed Obama's legacy forever. Brennan, Clapper, and Comey walked in with clean intelligence assessments confirming that there was no collusion found. But Obama rejected their findings and demanded they go back and produce the narrative he wanted. Evidence be damned. Create a story to spin the narrative. Act 2 reveals how Hanson's 3 blind mice carried out that impossible order, cherry-picking analysts, misrepresenting agencies, and fabricating assessments that were pushed as a verified fact by the mainstream media.
There are 3 blind mice involved in this tale. John Brennan, the former CIA director, James Clapper, the former director of National Intelligence, and James Comey, the former FBI director. And they all have new manifestations of their untruthfulness. The so-called CIA heads of various divisions found no Russian collusion. They said to John Brennan, there's nothing there that we can see that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. He rejected that, cherry-picked 4 or 5 other analysts, and then presented a false picture to Barack Obama. Or did he? Or did Barack Obama request that he do that? Then we come to James Clapper. He was sitting at this meeting in December of 2016, where he gave a false assessment and he misrepresented what the 18 intelligence agencies under his direction had found. They had not found Russian collusion, and yet he participated in this. He went so far as later to thanking and giving credit to Barack Obama for demanding that they find Russian collusion. He said if he hadn't have ordered us to do this, we wouldn't have found it, i.e. the subtext is there was no evidence in our intelligence agency for it, so we concocted it on the directive of Barack Obama. Then we come to James Comey. He also says that he had really nothing to do with the Steele dossier. The fact is, he was completely acquainted with it. His FBI offered $1 million. They were so desperate to validate it. They said to Christopher Steele, just give us some proof. We can use this. We'll give you $1 million. He couldn't even come up with He couldn't even come up with the substantive arguments to corroborate his own dossier, so he didn't get the $1 million.
1 meeting, 3 operatives, 0 real evidence, yet they manufactured a multi-year investigation that consumed the first 22 months of Trump's presidency. Hanson reveals just how desperate they became. Comey's FBI offered Christopher Steele $1 million for any proof to corroborate his dossier. Steele couldn't deliver because the evidence didn't exist. Act 3 shows you the devastating cost: a hobbled presidency that couldn't effectively deal with Russia on Ukraine, poisoned diplomacy, and the architects of this hoax walking away without facing justice.
Will they ever go to court? No, I don't think that they will be indicted because the so-called administrative state takes care of its own. But this had a lot of ramifications. It undermined confidence in our elections. It tried to disrupt the campaign of Donald Trump. It tried to erode his transition, and it tried to sabotage his presidency. But don't expect any of these people to face the justice that they deserve. There's new evidence that Barack Obama asked intelligence and investigatory heads like John Brennan, like James Clapper, and James Comey to find me evidence that you haven't found yet, so that we can continue the Russian collusion hoax after it was ineffective in the campaign. Hillary lost the election. Now we want to sabotage. This is the subtext of the transition and his presidency. You go back, we only have a few weeks left. I'm a lame duck president, and bring me the right assessments. And that's exactly what they did, and that's why they're terrified that new information is coming forth that suggests to the American people what they did and how they were culpable.
If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button so more people see it. And if you want more sharp takes on global power plays, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.